Yeah, what's good, everybody? So, I wanted to get on here to clarify why uh, I have I have my New York Giants going 3-14. Now, I understand the whole Malik Neighbors on retiring the jersey number one by number one. He was the first person to get his jersey retired. Um, that I have no issue with that. I know most Giants fans have an issue with that. Like, oh, come on. I mean, jerseys are meant to me. From for me, I don't think jerseys are meant to be retired. I really don't. If you're a great player, if you are a great enough player to carry on that tradition, go ahead and do it. Look at the Dallas Cowboys. They could have easily retired Michael Strahan, um, Magic, um, what's his name? Irvin John, no, um, Mike Irvin. There you go. They could have easily, the Cowboys could have easily retired Michael Irvin's 88 number, but he chose to say, you know what? I want my jersey to live on. I want y'all to best. I want y'all to keep on drafting the best receivers, best wideouts. I mean, look at the Cowboys. Look at the wide receivers the Cowboys had over the years. They had Bryant, right? They had Des Bryant. They, I think they had like two Bryants. The Bryant I'm talking about is not Des Bryant, but the other Bryant that played with what's the buddy's name? Uh, shoot, I forgot his name. Carter. There you go. That Bryant who played with Carter. And then Des Bryant came along. And then now it's CB Lamb. So the Cowboys are just going to keep on retooling that wide receiver role. And any good receiver, whether they come from Oklahoma State or wherever, they're going to rock number 88. Now, unfortunately, that's like Antonio Pierce rocking the number 58. Who wore number 58? Carl Banks, right? Carl Banks wore number 58. He felt like his jersey was not going to do so much in the display case. He wanted his jersey to live on. You know, like if you're going to be a good linebacker, be a good linebacker and wear my jersey proud. Now, Lawrence Taylor, on the other hand, maybe when the Giants, or maybe if a good opportunity presents itself and we do grab a linebacker, maybe from the blessings of Lawrence Taylor, they can unretire his jersey and put number 56 back on the field. But that's never going to happen because the Giants have always been in flux of drafting linebackers. For some odd reason, they can't get that position down right to save their life. Ever since they lost Antonio Pierce to injury, they have gone through at least now, before it was 13, but now it's like probably 18 different linebackers they've went through, or 21 different linebackers they went through since Antonio Pierce. Yeah, they had Michael Boley, but Michael Boley was not bad. He held his own, but that linebacker position is just cursed, you know. But so going back to what I was saying before, why I chose the 3-13 start was because the New York Giants was once a team that everybody respected, not feared, but respected. Um, I believe the New York Giants are in that phase where they're just trying to get their quarterback. Because you have to remember, Joe Shane and Brian Dable, that's not Daniel Jones' quarterback. They did not choose Daniel Jones. So they just rolled in with Daniel Jones till the wheels fall off. And then once they get their quarterback, once they get their quarterback, then you're going to see a huge difference. A huge difference. Now, again, I'm not throwing shade at Daniel Jones. I wish him well. I wish he can blossom into a great quarterback. Just not here. You know, just not here. I don't know where he is. I don't know where he's going to blossom at. Maybe a different team. But he's going to be great somewhere else. Just not here. Why did we pick Daniel Jones? I don't know. I did a video on the draft class. There was not too many quarterbacks, you know. I mean, Kyler Murray obviously went number one. You had Dwayne Haskins. And then you had Daniel Jones. And then you had Gardner Minshew. So you had a plethora of quarterbacks to choose from, but you went from the guy who kind of mentored Eli Manning. Okay? And I was just looking at Toomer on his, not on his, on a interview. He said, "What was your first impressions of Eli?" He wasn't too sure. But, you know, Toomer said that when I got to when I got to know Eli, like nothing fazed him. You know, like he can go out there and throw 4 picks, same demeanor, same face, same facial expression. He can go out there and throw 4 touchdowns, same face, same demeanor, same expression, and nothing bothered him. You know, like playing in New York, you have to have tough skin. You know, you can't be soft, you can't be sensitive. You know. And I think that's what lacks in the New York Giants. They don't have a foundation. They don't have anything that they can build around, you know. And now we're saying, oh, a wide receiver like Odell didn't even turn his franchise around. So what makes you think Malik Neighbors is going to turn this franchise around? Daniel Jones is a run-by-committee quarterback. He needs a very good running game to establish the passing game. Will Devin Singletary provide that? Who knows? You know, like I said before, Devin Singletary does things better than Saquon. Devin Singletary is a great pass protector, something that Saquon Barkley was struggling with, even coming out of Penn State. That was the only knock on Saquon Barkley. It was his pass protection. And as running back, you have to have good pass protection or you're not going to be on the field. Look at how many times they had to take Ahmad Bradshaw out. Not because he was too short, but they just needed a bigger back to, you know, protect Eli Manning's blind side. So when third down came, they would check, Brandon Jacobs would check in with Ahmad Bradshaw, and then he would get the duties of pass protecting because he was a little bit, you know, taller, 6'4", 6'5". But yeah, I mean, this team was always a you know, very proud franchise. You know, everybody loved to play with the New York Giants. You know, Chris Canty, intro role, D or C, you know, like the Giants was always that franchise that everybody respected. But now it's like they don't have that no more, you know? It's like nobody wants to play for us no more, you know? Um, but like I said, man, um, I wouldn't. I mean, the Giants are not going to fire Brian Dable. They're not, because they know that Daniel Jones is not their guy. And if you remember what happened on draft night when they had to trade to get Eli, you know, John Mara said that, you know, we traded to get Eli at draft night, and that whole franchise changed. So think about what the Giants could have accomplished if they made that trade with, you know, the Patriots and and the Commanders, two teams that they despise the most. You know, like I don't know if the Giants have any history with the Patriots other than those two Super Bowl wins, but rivalry is a rivalry. You know, um, but yeah, man, I just, you know, this team, this team is just, um, I'm not saying that, I'm not saying that, um, they can't, they can't go out there and compete. They're gonna try to compete to the best of their abilities, but anybody with a clear conscience and a thinking mind, and a functioning mind, I should say, can see that Daniel Jones is not the answer. To me, Daniel Jones is that quarterback that nobody picks up in free agency and matters. Like, you'll see them at 90, 80, 70, 60, 65, 67, and he's all the way down, and nobody picks him up. I wonder why. You know? Now, a lot of people are going to say, well, he came into the wrong situation, this and that. I mean, at least he had Eli Manning, for that 1 year. But, obviously, I guess he didn't learn anything from Eli, you know. But at the end of the day, you have to be yourself. I mean, nobody's going to be Eli, nobody's going to be Peyton. Daniel Jones has to be the best version of Daniel Jones. Now, if he could go out there and play like himself, that would be great, Like, I don't compare, like, I see a lot of Giants, I see a lot of New York Giants content creators say, well, if he played like 2000 and such and such, Daniel Jones, like, I hate when people say that because you can't be that guy. You can only be great once. Now, I'm not saying that you can't be great all the time, but you can't take specific events of your life and say, okay, I'm going to turn back into this person. That was just a one-time thing. He had different cast members around him. He had a very good running game to go along with the passing game. So that's why he flourished. You take Saquon Barkley out of that lineup and you put a running back, for one, he don't know how the running back operates. That running back don't know how Daniel Jones operates. I mean, at least with Daniel Jones, at least with Saquon Barkley, Daniel Jones felt safe under Saquon Barkley because they both understood each other. You're taking a running back that plays totally different. And not only do you think they played together in preseason, they probably did. So it's different. Brian Burns, he's gonna have to get acquainted of, seeing how this Giants defense plays because the way that he was utilized in Carolina may not be the same way that he's going to be utilized with the New York Giants. So it's going to take time. If you don't see that production right then and there, it's going to take time. It might probably take a few games for him to pop, you know. I mean, obviously we overpaid for him, so he has to perform, you know. I mean, I can't remember. Or actually, I can remember the last person that we overpaid. Nate Soldier protected Tom Brady for years, got over here, and he was a shell of himself, you know. And that's another thing. The Giants always used to get good free agents in the years. You know, if you go back and look at that 2016 season where we went out there and spent a whole bunch of money on the defense, and then obviously that defense came and we looked it very good, you know. But obviously at the end we broke down mentally or physically because the offense couldn't keep up or the offense couldn't step up. You know, I mean, if both sides were playing great simultaneously, the Giants could have probably won the Super Bowl or probably got to the Super Bowl. I don't know if they would have won it, but you know, in the last decade or so, the Giants only lost one Super Bowl, and that was against a very good Ravens defense. But other than that, they haven't really they haven't really lost that many championships. I mean, that many Super Bowls. Um, but for me, Daniel Jones, it doesn't take a rocket science to know that Daniel Jones is not the answer. I mean, I don't know why Giants fans and these content creators constantly saying, "Oh, give Daniel Jones this." Now dude, you doing Daniel Jones was doing well with freaking Golden Tate. He was doing very well with Golden Tate. So sometimes you don't need an elite receiver. All you need is a good running game and a consistent receiver. You don't need a number one. I'll just boast up about a number one receiver. What does the number one receiver get you? Nowhere. He's all about himself. He's selfish. He wants all the attention. And if he doesn't get it, he's going to pout. Look at T.O. Number one receiver everywhere he went. Didn't win a damn thing. Got to the Super Bowl once. And never again. You know. Randy Moss. My twin. Great talent. Just worked with bad quarterbacks. Finally got to New England. And, you know, he balled. You know, I'm not going to say that he didn't ball. He balled out in the Super Bowl. But obviously, the Giants defense just wasn't going to budge. You know, they had to get to Tom Brady or else they was going to lose this game. And they said that from the start of the whistle. We have got to get after Tom Brady. If you look at those 3 repeats that they had, none of them had elite pass rushers. I mean, I'm not gonna say elite, but none of them had like a pass rusher like us. You know, like we had Toast, we had OC, Tuck, Strahan, Cavicho, Mitchell. Like we had Jay Alford, you know. So we had so many bodies that we could throw at Tom Brady. That's what threw him off his game, and that's why he was just tampering, like the great Gregory Hines, the God rest his soul. Stephen A. Smith used to say that line. Tom Brady be dancing like the late great Gregory Hines. They didn't really know who he was talking about, so I had to research who he was, and obviously he was a musician who sadly passed away. But you know, like I said, man, Brian Dable and Joe Shane is looking for their quarterback. They don't believe Daniel Jones is the answer. They don't want to say Daniel Jones is not the answer because they don't want to look wrong and stupid in the face. So they have to swallow their Russell and hope that Daniel Jones is not the answer. Because let's say Daniel Jones goes out there and Christmas trees it this season, we're going to have either the third pick or the second pick in next year's draft. Now, we still can't get rid of Daniel Jones because of his contract. So in 2026, when his contract is up, he's going to be a free agent, and then we're going to already have our quarterback set. Good running game, good receivers, good defense, and we'll see the difference between mediocre and great. That's all I have to say. I already did my schedule prediction. Go to my shirts and check that out. And I will see you Sunday.